Hi and welcome to my playhouse. And today I'm in the basement and I'm playing with kind of a civilian system for Datacenter. This is the NetBotz and it's a model called WallBotz 500. It's kind of old. After these were produced, the company was bought up by APC. Actually it says here that it's created by NetBotz Industries. When they were produced, they were producing them, but I bought this one on eBay from the United States actually, and I bought it because we have these at work and I kind of like these. I think they're pretty cool. So when I've had to check something out on a WallBotz at work, I just happened to fall over it at eBay and I thought that, well, I needed one. But this was fairly cheap. I think I paid $39 for this. Then I had to pay another $30 in shipping and $15 for import tax or something like that. But it does not come with a power supply. But let's go to the table and we'll try and go over this. Okay, here it is. This one has seen some action. There is a big, deep scratch in that, but it was fairly cheap and it looks like the lens is okay. The WallBotz is meant for mounting in the data center, watching the people that comes in to the data center and stores that. It's more or less just a camera, but it has other features. It can measure temperature, humidity, airflow, audio and external. And external are these 4 sensor ports where you can connect other sensors that is also available that you can go out and buy. It could be water on the floor or something else that you wanted to connect to this. Maybe you want to connect your fire system or something else. You can connect that to one of these sensors. Otherwise, it has a power plug here. It has a serial connector, LAN connector. It has 4 USB sticks, USB ports. Not sure yet what they're for. Then it has an expansion card. And I just happened to have a colleague that had an expansion card like this that fits in here, which means that I will be able to put an SD card in here and get some more storage out of this. The box does have built-in storage and it should be enough for about 24 hours of storage, video and also all of these things for 24 hours, and measuring those and showing awesome graphs of what has been going on in the data center. On the top here it has a couple of connections. The first one, I actually don't know what that is. Never seen that sign before, and I did not look that up before I started this. But then there's a microphone port and someone has put in a little mini jack here to make that shut the fuck up probably. I think it has a built-in microphone as well. So if you want to shut that up, you put in a plug here and it will use this one instead, so that you don't get as many alerts. Like if you walk into the data center and it also measures the volume of the noise, you could get alerts all the time. And then there's a headphone plug. I have no idea what that should be used for. Up here there is some light indication. There's a status, alert, 10 megabyte, 100 megabyte and activity. I guess these are probably connected to the network connection here, what kind of networking the box has. On the back there is a mounting point, which brings me to that this came with a partly mounting thing here. A thing like this, which it looks very much like what you would put on a microphone stand or a light stand, but you can mount this here. Yeah. And adjust it. You would still need to mount this to something on the wall or on the ceiling, but well, it comes with part of the mounting stand, and it's just because this is a used one. If you get a new one, there is more of this, but well, I only got this. Let's just see the label over here. We can zoom in on that. There is the data about the NetBotz, and it's made in the United States. It says here that it uses 5 volts DC, 2 amp max. And that is where I run into a lot of problems, because as I said, there is no power supply for it. And over here on the table, I am actually playing with a power supply because we have had this power supply fail at work. So I have scored one of these bad power supplies. Someone has written defective on it. But this was very neat because I needed the pinout of the cable here. This is the weird cable that goes into the NetBotz. And so on the back here it actually says what and how that is supplied. But it's a bit weird that this one has 5 volts and 3.3 volts. And the NetBotz itself over here only claims to be using 5 volts. So that's a thing right there. It would be so much easier if this only used 5 volts. So I wouldn't have to mess with the 3.3 volts. I have been messing with this power supply, which I better disconnect. I have disconnected the wall, so I better disconnect this. We have 220 volts here. It hurts like hell if you get electrocuted by 220 volts. I have been looking at this and I have not been able to figure out what's wrong with this. It doesn't look like anything has blown. It doesn't look like any... I've measured the fuses, I've measured the voltage, and I have no idea where it dies. But I would like to use the cable coming out of it right there, because I would be able to connect my power supplies up here and just power the thing from the power supplies and actually see this working. So I think that is what we're going to be doing first. Actually, there is this cable, they haven't supplied the shortest one. So I think we will just do ourselves a favor and just cut that like that. I have looked into these power supplies and the cheapest one is about $70 from the United States. Usually they are closer to $100, and that is without shipping and stuff. So now we have a cable here that we should be able to figure out how it works. So I'm gonna remove the insulation and okay, I have removed the top insulation and I'm gonna remove for each of these. I have a little un-insulation thingy here. I've had this forever and ever. It's pretty smart. So now these are clear. On the box here we have the ground connection, and that's these 2 pins. They're just connected to ground, and also the metal thing on the connector here, the housing of it, that is also ground. And the ground connector, that's this wire that is not insulated. And I have to measure out the 2 other ground connections, and that will just be like 3 connectors just going together like that, and that will be ground. And then there will be 5 volts and 3.3 volts. I'm just picking colors here. I'll have to find out which is which first. Okay, so I have the multimeter here and I have it set into beep mode. So I should be able to find out which connectors here corresponds with which connectors here. So I want to find all the ground connections. So let's start with the housing, and I'm guessing that one. Cool. Just making sure that there is not a short circuit to any of the other ones. That's good. So then I have to point this right. That would be that way. So these 2 connectors down here, that's gonna be hard to film. I'm gonna stuff it in there. See which one that is. black is always also ground. Just gonna check that again. Okay, black is ground. And let's see that one. I'm guessing brown. No? Orange. Okay, that means that this one, and that one, that's the combined ground connection. So I'm twisting those together, and I've heated up the soldering iron there, so I can take that, have some solder here, and I'll just solder those together. Cool. And I'll just make sure over here that it's still good to what I am expecting here. So I'm expecting this one to be connected to that one. Yes, and that one. Yes, not to that one. Good. And not to that one. Good. So, okay. Then we need to find out which one is the 5 volts and which one is the 3.3 volts. That's a bit more difficult, but I guess I can clamp this in here now that I know that. That's probably okay. And that one should be the 5 volts. I'm guessing red. Yes. Red is 5 volts. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna twist those, and we're gonna put some solder on those as well. And we're gonna try and power this from the power supply and see what happens. So, this one off the way. Have the power supply on. I'm gonna set it to 2 amps and 5 volts there. Connect the minus there and the plus there. And I'm very curious if it needs the 3.3 volts or if that doesn't matter. I really have no idea. So, should we try and give it the no, let's just try and connect this just with the 5 volts. The box says it only needs 5 volts. 5 volt DC. I could take it apart. Anything down here? It says 5 volts right there. It does not say 3.3 volts anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna try and connect the 5 volts. If it says poof, we know that this wasn't successful, and I'll be well, I might not be uploading this video. Let's get this cable out of the way, make sure that we are in framing. We could power off the power supply and put this connector in first. And it goes the other way, okay, like that. Make sure that everything is not bad. Okay, here goes nothing. It's powered and absolutely nothing happened. Not fantastic. Well, I don't think it has a power on and off button, so okay. We'll try and give it the 3.3 volts as well. See if that will help us any. Have another power supply. I have connected the multimeter to the power supply. I'm gonna give it all the 1 amp and we're gonna turn it down to 3.3 volts. There, that's close enough. I'm gonna connect these power leads. And we're gonna connect the minus to the other power supply actually, just that's common. no problem there. Now we're gonna connect this one to the 3.3 volts. That is connected, and that is connected. And we have a stators. Cool. Cool. So it does need the okay, did I just lose connection? Okay, let's try this again if the camera angle was bad. Now we have 5 volts and 3.3 volts. So let's plug this in. We have a status bar up here. It goes out. Last time it came back. There, came back. And then these, yeah, blinking. And that sounds like the okay sound to me. I might be wrong, but well, it sounds okay to me. So not bad at all, not bad at all. Awesome, but I really need a better solution than 2 power supplies. And I can see it's not drawing much power there. It might be drawing more power when it's done booting or something like that. I do actually have something that might be able to solve this. This is a DC to DC stepper. So I should be able to put in voltage in and get some voltage out, which means that I could have just a 5 volt power supply and I could create the 3.3 volts with this thing instead. So, and they could probably fit in a nice little box like that. So that's a possibility, to go that way and just figure out and find a good 5 volt power supply to do this. I think I'll go check if I have anything in stock. Okay, I've been digging around and I found this power supply, which is 5 volts, 5 amps. Unfortunately, that's a lie. This is a 12 volt power supply. I don't have any that is any good for this project, which really sucks, because I would have liked to get this up and running. The best thing I could find was actually this tiny little thing, and it's only able to supply 1 amp, and it runs a micro USB connector, and it's the best of Chinese quality. I don't think it's gonna cut it. So I will have to go and purchase a better power supply, 5 volt power supply, or a power supply that can supply both 5 volts and 3.3 volt. Would be awesome. I will go and check the other good Chinese site and see if that is available. Because even on a good day, this is probably not gonna be able to supply 1 amp. And well, the other one that I just totally broke, it ran for 9 years, and it really does look like that this was a really good power supply until it died. But well, this is not gonna work. But now that I am at it, I might as well see if this thing works. I actually have 2 of those. This one we don't need anymore. So I've connected this to the 5 volt power supply over here, and we're gonna get the multimeter down here so we can see that, and we can measure the voltage coming out of that. I just adjusted it, so we should see 3 point something coming out of that. 3.339 volts. So I'm gonna try and connect that power over here and see what happens to that. We need to connect we need to connect the minus, that one, which is today being represented by white. We're gonna connect that over to that one, blah blah blah, yes. And the 3.3 volts plus will be red and connected to the brown wire there, and we will try and plug that in again, see what happens. So we do that if it's able to power that way. Otherwise I'll have to think of something else. Nothing? Okay. It is drawing some power over at the multimeter. It takes about half an amp over there. Maybe the 3.3 volts is not able to supply enough. I'm just gonna try and measure how much voltage we have there. We have 3.2 volts. That might be too little. I measured this and we have almost 3 volts there. Might not be enough. Okay, the DC to DC converter, I did not get that up and running. It still works with the power supplies, so that is okay. I have to go figure out how much amperage this can supply. It might be an issue that it's not able to supply enough amperage and therefore not working with this thing. I do forget how much this supplies, or if it's even inside of the voltage range. I did try to crank this up to a 12 volt input and a 3.3 volts output, and it was able to show that it was producing 3.3 volt output, and I could not see it dropping considerably either, so I'm not sure what's going on, but right now this is not the way to go. Well, it was cheap on eBay, and I do hope that I can get this up and running, because it's an awesome little device. Really look forward to showing it to you when I get it up and running. I don't think very many of us have ever seen one of these, so I would really like to show this off. I can't very well show the one we have at work because of security issues, so therefore I got one myself, which I can show to you. I will go and seek out a new power supply for this. If you just happens to know what power supply would be awesome for this, 5 volt and 3.3 volts, do leave it in the comments below. Remember to like this video, and there is a bell thing somewhere that is very upbeat at the moment. You have to hit the bell. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.